Hello and welcome to the live stream. Today we're going to be talking about Discord, and I'm just basically pondering a question, and I'll give you a spoiler alert. The answer is no. But the title was perhaps a little bit clickbaity. Should I quit Discord? But honestly, it is something that I had contemplated, and I've been thinking about it. I've been on Discord now with the Take One Tech community for about 2 years. I think I certainly started it in January of 2022, and then officially sort of launched it, I think, probably mid-March or something like that. But it's been a platform that I've been on and been using for that time. And it's something that I really love it myself for a number of reasons. So what I'm going to do today is go through the reasons why I love it, the reasons why I've considered switching to some other platform, and what caused that, and then where I've ended up and what I've changed, because I have changed my approach to things in some way. So before we do that, I'm just going to say a quick hello. So Peter in the chat is already saying I shouldn't quit. So there we go. Let me just sort my comments out straight away. Peter, by the way, in the backstage area right now in Discord. I always have my backstage pass members in the Discord before we start, and Jeff keeping me on track, making sure we don't start talking about random stuff like pigeon-guided missiles, as we just were, which is a thing. Anyway, hey Dan, great to see you here. Thanks for stopping by. I'm glad you could catch the live stream. Hey Tanju, great to see you here as well, and great to see you as well, Dan. I'm in 4 groups on Discord. None seem to have a ton of traction or consistency. Just my 2 cents. Well, that's great information to hear from you, and I'll go through what I'm doing to change up in my community and why. And what you've felt, I think, is not uncommon indeed. So, first of all, let me tell you about why I originally started with the Discord community. And as I say, it was about 2 years ago. I was considering a way to have a better way to sort of connect with folks that are watching the videos, and I considered the other group options. Facebook groups for me was just an instant, turn off, because the problem with Facebook groups is essentially if you join a Facebook group, it is just kind of like a stream of consciousness, and you're not necessarily totally in control, or you're not at all in control of what appears there. So if you go into a Facebook group, then it's almost kind of like the latest post or the latest things that people have acted with sort of bubble up to the top, and you might think, well, that seems reasonable and right. However, the problem with that though is that then if you have some sort of community that has got a lot of diverse topics covered or interests or things like that, then people are only basically seeing the latest conversation, who's shouting the loudest almost in the group, as opposed to having a way to find things. Technically, Facebook groups does have search, but if you've ever tried to search for anything in a large Facebook group, it's almost impossible. I mean, I can't even find, an old post that I posted, even if I put the title and the name of it or whatever. I still find it difficult to find even my old stuff. If I want to recall something that, I remember mentioning this before, let me just tag somebody in this because it's going to be useful to them. So it's quite challenging, to say the least, to actually use Facebook groups effectively. If you just want to have it kind of like a town hall type thing where, it's people can just come in and chat and whatever, it's fine. What I love about Discord, and actually, let me just change something in my Discord setting, because I do, let me just change this. There we go. So if I come into my Discord server, and I'll show you, and by the way, you can always join the Discord. It's free to join the Take One Tech Discord. Despite the title of this thing, this live stream, I'm not actually quitting, so you can join it. But what happens is when you go in, you've basically, instead of having a single stream of consciousness as you get in a Facebook group, you've basically got all these different subcategories. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to collapse down some of these things right now, because all we need to be interested in right now is the fact that we've just got these categories here. So if you have got a question about Ecamm Live, you've maybe watched some of my channel, and you've got a question to ask, then this is by far the best place to come. So if you come into the Discord, then you can see here we've just got a channel here called Ecamm Live, which is basically just a series of conversations about everything to do with Ecamm. So if you've got a question, you can drop it in here. In fact, my live stream last week was this one about creating lower thirds. That live stream came about specifically because Andy dropped in a question about, how do I make those little lower thirds, the ones that just popped up there. So this thing here that was on my screen, This thing that just popped up down there. Andy asked, how do I make those? And so I came into here and just went and made the live stream specifically to answer that question. So you can see that what you've got is you've got this organization down the left-hand side. So we've got Ecamm Live, Rodecaster and Stream Deck are two other popular topics on my channel. So I've got a channel for each of those. Any Rodecaster questions can go into there. And the benefit for me of Discord, when I was looking for something, was the fact that people ask me questions in the comments of my videos all the time. But if I go and answer everything in there, then there's this sense that, first of all, I lose track of the conversations because YouTube is not a messaging app, and so I'm getting notified, or at least when I go into my messages in YouTube Studio, I see any messages that are in there, but then if I reply to them, I'm not necessarily getting responses or notified of any responses. So it's not easy for me to sort of follow along with any sort of formal sort of conversation in there at all. The other thing is the only people who see those are potentially people who might watch the video and go down into the chat, into the messages. Whereas in Discord, in theory, this is a place where people can come, they can get involved in the conversation as well. And it may well be that somebody else has got a much better answer than me in any case. So rather than me just answering something down there, quite often in the Discord, what will happen is somebody will ask a question, and then there'll be multiple people in there will have some answer to that. So that for me was the benefit of Discord. It gives a central location for all of these sort of questions, because one of the potential issues with having a tech YouTube channel is that there is this sort of sense that then you become somewhat tech support in the comments, and it sort of becomes unsustainable as things grow. And I have full disclosure, I have an issue with keeping on top of comments and things like that in YouTube, because some of them, I don't know how people with hundreds of thousands of followers manage this unless they've got a sort of team working on it with them. Because it's one thing if it's just thanks for the video to respond with that's great, I'm glad you liked it, but if somebody's asking some sort of technical question, oh, this video was great, it really helped, but how about this, how could I do something for this use case, it is a sort of becoming unsustainable sort of thing. So that was really another motivation from the for having the Discord with the with the organization that gives. So that was really sort of my main motivator for coming over to Discord in the first place. The other thing is it's got a much better search function. I'm in this one where we're talking about whatever this is, a collapsible monitor that Dan was talking about. But if I wanted to search something about, let's say, teleprompters, I can come in here and type in teleprompter and hit return, but then I can do various different searches in here. So I can you can see it's just giving me a load of different results here, but you can actually refine that search so that it's basically searching for anything before a certain date or anything by this certain person. You can get a lot more detailed in the search that you've got in there. So if Discord is so great, why is it that I've been thinking about sort of quitting it, or at least evaluating my options in here? So the thing is, Discord does seem to be something that is somewhat polarizing. People do seem to either love it or they hate it. And the trouble with Discord potentially is that when you come into Discord, or at least when you as a server owner set up Discord, you've essentially got a really blank canvas. And so if I come back into my server, all of these different things here that all the different channels I created in here, and these different groupings of them as well, they were all created by me, specific to my, what I thought were the needs of the server and the community. But every server is going to be different in terms of what they've got in there. And there is an art form to, creating a community. And some people do it well, some people do it badly. I'm not going to say where on that scale I lie, but the fact is that you can get a very different experience in Discord depending on the community that you're involved in. Now, one of the things that put me off Discord originally was that I did actually join a Discord community about, I want to say 4 years ago. And it was a trading community, and they had around about 60,000 members in there. And so the feeling that I got when I went in was there was just too much. There was too much activity. It was too overwhelming because of all the different channels. They'd literally got, hundreds of channels in there. And so I kind of went in, and it felt like, I was totally lost in terms of where should I even be looking in here. Then, when you see notifications, if you're in a community with, 50,000, and then you've got any form of notifications turned on, you go in. And by the way, if you go into the Discord here, this looks like everything is all sort of in gray here. But if there was a new message in any one of these channels, then what you would actually see is it would be a white color to show that there was something unread in there. And so you can imagine that if you go in something where it's got, hundreds of channels, or 50 or more channels in there, and everything is all sort of lit up, that you think like, holy crap, there's a lot for me to get through here in terms of just keeping up with it. So that can be a little bit of a turn-off for some people. And as I say, what was the thing that really prompted me to want to sort of evaluate where I am with this is that I've obviously got my Take One Tech Academy. Oh, and there you go. Somebody's just very kindly dropped in a message into Ecamm Live to show what that looks like. So you can see here that because there is an unread message in Ecamm Live, it shows a little icon there to show that it is there is a message in there, and then it shows also that it is a white color as opposed to these gray ones, and there's this little dot there to show that there's something unread. So you can imagine if you haven't been in a community for a while and you come back in and you see it all lit up like this, there's this feeling of, well, it's not just like an email inbox where you might have however emails you have in there, but if you came in and saw, double figure numbers in all of these, it's kind of like, oh, I haven't got time to go into that, So that is as I say, a potential issue that people face with Discord. But it is to do with how you organize it. And I'll get onto a little bit later how you can reduce the things that you see. I'll get onto how you can just be only seeing the things that you look at. But the thing that really sort of spurred me onto this asking this question was, I've got my Take One Tech Academy, and we've got folks all around the world. We have Q&A sessions in for me, it's Thursday AM and Thursday PM. So there's 2 sessions to account for, usually it's folks in the US and Australia come to the morning session. And then UK, Europe, and that would come to the second session. And then there are a whole bunch of folks actually who are in the academy that don't come to those sessions. Either they are on, there's a tier, the professional tier of the academy. I should probably just pop up my little thing. If you're interested in learning more about the academy, you can find out here. The professional tier gives access to all of my courses and the monthly workshops that we run. And then the professional tier and my elite coaching give access to that weekly Q&A and some other learning resources as well. But in short, though, we've got folks that are all over the world, but they're not necessarily directly connected because although they have access to Discord, some of these issues that people have with Discord are things that academy members have, and also some of them are just maybe not wanting to come into the that community to use it at all on the platform. So there's some that are in there and use it. There are some in there that aren't really too keen on coming back in because of all the issues that I've just talked about that people have. And then there are some that just haven't even made the leap into Discord. And so from my point of view with the Take One Tech Academy, there is this thing, and in fact all of my course owners as well, people who come in and do my courses, then at the top of every course I have a thing, come and join the community, click here to join Discord. And, I've had hundreds, thousands of people that have done my courses, but, the majority of those haven't gone over to Discord. I think at the moment we're up to about 300 or something, 350 members in Discord. Somebody else just popped in, but I'll get over to that in a minute. There's not the majority of people aren't making that transition. So with the Academy, what I've decided is that I want to have a way to really sort of bring those people specifically. I mean, it's the most important thing for me is to make sure that if people have joined the Take One Tech Academy, there is a way for them to connect and engage with one another and sort of exchange information. And so what I've actually done is for Academy members, and I'm looking to sort of roll this out to course owners as well. And this is in addition to Discord. I'll come back to Discord in a moment. But I've set up something called the Take One Tech Network. Now, this is really bare at the moment. There is literally only me in it, but I'll be rolling this out for Academy members in the next next few days, they'll all be getting sort of invites to come to this. But really, this is a place just for people to be able to get sort of immediate responses and collaborate and connect with other Academy members. So a place for introductions, obviously, to sort of introduce who you are, what your skill set is, and things like that, because we've got some real sort of great minds in the Academy, and there's literally people on the opposite side of the world that are working in exactly the same field, so they need to be connected. And this, incidentally, here is just a Kajabi community, because all of my courses are hosted on Kajabi. This is a very easy way for me to just, as soon as somebody signs up to the Academy, they get instant access to this. So there's zero friction in doing it, and it just appears in their course library. So if you are, we're in my course library where you see all the different courses you've got as an Academy member, then this would just appear in there as an access point into this community. Then a place to just ask for general help. So, if there's something related to, whatever it is that you're working on, then this will be a place to get those questions answered. And the point about this is I want to make sure that all Academy members are in here because, as I say, we've got these great minds, and so it's an opportunity for them to be able to ask questions, not of me necessarily, just me, but also the other experts in the group as well. A place to share wins. So, as people are going through this process of growth and self-development in the Academy, then a place to help each other along with that. And then just a couple of things for feature requests, as in things that we can do differently in the Academy, and also then a place for me to give updates that are just specific to Academy members. You can also do things in here such as have challenges. So this is one of the Kajabi community features, have challenges, like a 1 week or 1 month focused on X, Y, and Z, and we set challenges along the way there. And then we can also do meetups in there. And specifically, I have these weekly Q&A sessions. So those can be all hosted in there, and the recordings would be in there as well. So that's what I'm setting up for Academy members. Now, what I'll look to do as well is then, after we've gone through a trial period there, potentially roll this out to course owners, and then look at how this could become, some sort of how we can develop this going forward as well. The thing about the Discord community is that I do want the Discord community to continue and to thrive and be basically the place for anybody who just wants to come in and get their questions answered. And it will be a sort of free resource. It's going to be the best place to get your questions answered if you've seen anything on my YouTube channel. And it's going to be a place for talk on all of these specific tech topics, as opposed to what I've just shown you there, which is really for growing the Academy side of things and course owners and so on. What I've always got to be constantly mindful of, and I'm constantly thinking about, where the trajectory is, where I'm heading to in terms of everything I've been building out. So, this was the case that when I set up my Discord, I already had the idea of the Academy in mind because, I put plans in place before I'd even announced it. So, right from the beginning. So, it's it's something that I've got to constantly think about. And one thing that I can say is, the trajectory of the channel in terms of how quickly it's growing, and it is a sort of compounding thing. In fact, if you were in the Discord, you would see that if I go into my content creation channel here, this is where just the other day I posted about, looking at when I look at my number of views and things like that. And just to give you this as an example of the sort of things I post in there, this was talking about, when people are looking at their views on YouTube, it's easy to potentially get disheartened. And I just gave this example of if I look at my views on YouTube over 6 days, a month, a year, and lifetime, if I look over 7 days, you could look at that and think, oh, the views are going down. If I go and look at it over a month, you could say, well, it's pretty static. There's been a bit of a spike and it's dropped down. They're pretty flat. If I look at it over a year, you could potentially look at that and say, oh, well, it looks like I had a big spike there, but I didn't really capitalize on the momentum of that. But if I look at it over the lifetime of the channel, then the line of best fit through there is basically, heading in that way. And bearing in mind that this is sort of daily views, then that means that, the actual growth is accelerating. And so I'm approaching 10,000 subscribers at the moment. And, I'm intending to continue with the channel and it to grow. And so for me, I've always got to think that as the channel grows, then potentially, the community is something that's going to grow as well. And I've got to be mindful of the sort of management of that. So just coming back to this community, what really inspired it? So doing this is that just this last 2 weeks ago, I guess, I joined another community. I'm not going to say which one it was, but I joined another community for a couple of reasons, really. First of all, it was in the creator space. Second of all, I kind of low-key wanted to just check out how they were doing their community to see, what was some of the pluses and benefits to it, or benefits and negatives to it. But just to be a part of that community as well. And they were using, actually, the platform was called Circle. Now, funnily enough, Kajabi call their little groups here, they call them circles, but this isn't Circle, although it looks similar to Circle, the platform. But they had something similar to this, with introductions, Q&A, share your wins, feature requests, and so on. And this was a new community that was launched. They reached, just over 500 members relatively quickly. They had a big sort of launch event for it. And what I've noticed already is that the share your wins section, which, in theory should be a place for people to talk about the things that they're doing, be a place for people to celebrate with them. I'm already noticing that people are kind of using that as a place to just celebrate their wins by promoting their new product. They're saying, oh, I'm really excited for the upcoming launch of my new project with 30% discount in the launch weekend. It's like, yeah, that's not really celebrating your win. You're just sort of pitching there. Other people are posting kind of long form written things, which is more as if they've taken just their content that they're posting on LinkedIn for expert positioning, and they're just posting it in there under the pretense that it's a win. So you've got to be really careful about these things in terms of how they are managed, so that so that it doesn't get out of hand and it still serves the purpose that it was intended for. Now, fortunately, that's something that I've never had an issue with in the Take One Tech community, because everyone in there is awesome. But it is something that I've got to be sort of mindful of as it grows. Now, coming back to the reason for this whole question was that this community that I was in, I did notice a change in my behavior, though. I don't know why I switched to that screen then. I did notice a change in my behavior with this community that I recently joined, is when I go to my Discord app, then if I go into it, then I do see that there are all these other things with activity going on in them. So I always used to say or think to myself that one of the benefits of Discord is it's a place that people are already going to because they're a member in other communities. Like, so if you see here on the left-hand side, this is my community. I could click into the Ecamm Live community, or I could click into any of these other ones down here. And by the way, you can group them together. So this one has got a group of different communities. But can you see all of these little dots? That means there is, in fact, you can't see it because it's just off the screen. That's helpful, isn't it? Let me just move this. There we go. All of those little dots there are showing me that there is something that is unread in those particular servers. So, if I go into the Ecamm server, for example, there are, some of these channels have got unread messages in them. Now, what I actually noticed in myself was when I was looking at my Discord app and I saw that it got, a load of notifications or a load of unread messages, it was kind of like a bit of overwhelm, because I just feel like, oh, well, I haven't even got time to go into that, because who knows what I'm going to open up in front of me. And by the way, it's not helped by, I'm going to continue to call people out on this, people who've got servers where they post their own videos on YouTube and use the @everyone symbol, because it just makes me not go into the server at all. Now, I do post my own videos in my own server. So if you go into my server, I've got a place here for my content, which I've reduced down to basically just like my own videos now. But there's no @everyone, so you're not necessarily getting notified of that every time, or at least you're in control of those notifications. But you get people where they've got a creator server and they're just like trying to draw people's attention every time they go live, every time they post a video. It's just a real turn off, because every time I see a notification, I just think, oh, it's probably just that they went live. And on YouTube, obviously, we're in control of that in any case. We can decide whether we want notifications on YouTube. So that should be left to within our control. But the point is, though, when you go into here, there's potentially lots of unread messages. So the thing that I noticed differently about my behavior, and by the way, if you have got a server here, you can just right click and click mark as read, and that's what I invariably do. So it just gets rid of that. If you've got a group here, so you've just grouped them together, I can actually right click mark as read, and I can do that on here as well. So let me just do that and assume that, there we go, I've just, I don't need to go and look at those. I'm all up to date. Yeah, so what I noticed though about my own behavior was when I joined this other community, they were in Circle, and so I'm only in one community on Circle, and so the Circle app was sitting next to the Discord app on my my iPad, and so when I look down and see that there is a message in there, then actually I'm more inclined to go and look at it because I know that it's just from that one dedicated community. So something that I thought was a benefit of Discord originally may not actually be the case if someone is in lots of servers and you know, my content or someone else's content or your content, if you're a server owner, might kind of just be getting lost into the overwhelm that comes potentially with that. So first of all, what I've done with mine, because I did take feedback from folks certainly in the academy to begin with, what I've done is I've actually slimmed down my the number of channels that I've got in there, because whilst I felt that it was great that you've got all of this organization, and now in here you can see we've got Ecamm Live, Rodecaster, Stream Deck, then basically other studio gear, software. I talk about productivity and automation, so I've put a dedicated channel for that. Obviously talking about content creation as well. And then we do talk about AI, so that's obviously a big thing with a channel of its own as well. And then Kajabi is something, you know, I've got the Kajabi Accelerator, folks that are learning Kajabi with me, from me, and so we've got a channel for that as well, and then something for everything else. So this here, this Tech Talk section, this is all, you know, anybody can access this. It's all free to join the server, and you can come in and join these conversations and ask your questions in here. But I've got to say that I used to have a lot more in there. So if I go down to this section that I've currently got archived, you can see that there are all these other channels that were related to other things, but there was potentially overlap. And I think that all of that, and certainly the feedback that I've got, is that all of these different channels that were available, rather than being great organization, you know, as I thought, was actually just compounding the potential overwhelm. So let me just go into here. One thing you can do in Discord is I can just basically view this server as if I was a particular role. So let me do that for a second. I'll just go into here, go into my... so one of the... another benefit of Discord, by the way, let me just... I'm talking about something here that I haven't explained. You've got what are called roles in Discord, which means that I can assign a different role or multiple different roles. Think of them like tags to different users, and then I can give them selective access to different parts of the server. So right now, if I go in here, and you'll see what this looks like. If you've just joined the server, you're basically going to see this. You're going to see something like that. Now, this bit down here. It's just because I'm active in this backstage pass area. But basically, this is what somebody would see coming directly into the server. So there's an introduction where we've just got some basic rules, basically be nice. So you can ignore that one going forward after you've just read it. Orientation is just sort of how to use Discord and find yourself way around. We've got introductions here. Hey, Dan, welcome to the server. You've just dropped in from Melbourne, Australia. So I've seen you in the chat and you've just jumped over to Discord. Great to have you here. Then we've got Discord help. This is specifically if you're having trouble with Discord and finding your way around, then you can always come in here. This is specifically for, I don't know what to do here, or I've got a problem. How do I do this? How do I do that? So this is basically all just sort of like onboarding type stuff. So what you can do in Discord is if you have done the, read the rules and you just don't even want to see this again, or the orientation, you don't want to see that, although actually these things do get updated. Maybe this is a bad example. Maybe the videos. Let's say that you're just not interested in seeing whenever I post a video because you already get updates on YouTube about that, as people do. What you can do is you can just right click on here and you can actually mute the channel. So you can say, right, well, let me just mute this channel until I turn it back on. And what that means is you're not going to get these little annoying things here, which are annoying if you only come in occasionally and then you see this like inbox effect of all these unread messages or all these unread things. So you can just come in here and you can just literally mute it. That means you'll still see the channel there. You can still go into it, but it's just not going to feature in any of your things. You could also actually do that in here as well. So you've got what are called categories, which are these sort of high level things. You can also collapse them so that you don't see everything that's inside. So that's a category and this is a channel. So you could just say, well, you know what? I'm not actually interested about updates about Alex content. So let me just mute all of that stuff as well. The other thing that you can do, though, is there is in here, if you go to Browse Channels, you actually see a full list of all of the channels, and you can literally just turn them off. So you can just remove them completely from the sidebar. So let's say that you use Ecamm, you use Stream Deck, but you don't have a Rodecaster. You're not interested in Rodecaster at all. You could literally just come in here and click this button, and it would just disappear from the sidebar completely. If you're not using Kajabi, you may well be just completely uninterested in anything Kajabi related, so you can just remove that one. And actually, in doing that, it gives you a much better view of all the different channels that you've got. So then down here, instead of all of these different things, you may well just have 2 or 3 things that are the things that you are most interested in seeing. So that's a really great way that you can just sort of get a better view of the stuff that's in Discord. And as I say, that's just what I've done to slim things down in here. But this is what you see when you come in. Now, the beauty of roles, though, is if I click on here and just view this as if I was, one of the Academy members, for example, then they see some additional stuff. So let me just click on there. They will, in fact, it's not doing it now because oh no, it is. There we go. That opens up these other channels down here. So yeah, with roles, you can give people selective access to different things. Discord is fantastic. It's just a case of getting into the to understanding a little bit more about how to use it. Now, what I've done as well is, because I do want people to get better at using Discord, I've actually reduced the price of my Discord beginner's guide. So if you go over to here, I can drop this in somewhere. Now, where have I put it? There we go. You can get access to the Discord beginner's guide. It is 57 lessons, and it's now just $47. So you can come over to here, click to get instant access, and that looks something like this. The Discord Beginner's Guide is, as I say, 57 lessons. It talks about, there's basically 2 halves of it, actually. The first half is about using Discord, and then the sort of second, I guess the first 2/3, the second third then is about building your community on Discord, server settings, using Discord bots, monetizing your server. But within each of these, though, if we just go into server organization, so some of those things that I've just talked about here, introduction to organization, categories and channels, how to have, start threaded conversations, forum channels, voice channels, all of these different things, roles. So talking about what those are, I go into a lot more detail in all of those. So it's a really comprehensive course. And by the way, if you need further assistance with all of this stuff, then within the course as well, you'll find a link to Keely. She was the one that got me onto Discord and has been a guiding light in getting things set up in here. And anything that is working in Discord is, I always say, is down to Keely. Anything is not is down to my inadequacies. But yeah, so normally I have a link to book a call with me in there, but I've just linked to Keely in there because she is awesome. So that is the Discord Beginner's Guide. As I say, I've just permanently reduced the price of it. It used to be $97, but I really do want to make people, help people, not make them. You will learn Discord. I want to help people, if they're so inclined, completely of their own free will, to get better at learning Discord, and to make make it better for folks that are in my community, but other communities as well, because there is a real wealth of information and knowledge across all of these communities, if you're in the Ecamm community, for example. But I know that there is this friction which comes down to lack of understanding of doing that. So that is the course. You can find a link to that in the description, and also I've just dropped it down into the chat as well. So yeah, really the things that I've changed sort of going forward is slimming things down, trying to simplify it, make it a lot easier for people to find the information that they want. And then yeah, that's the thing that I'm doing for my Academy members is really trying to build out a network that is just guaranteed to be accessible to everyone. I understand that Discord isn't necessarily for everyone completely. So let me just come and check in with some of the comments in the chat, because there may well have been some comments and questions. Hey, David, great to see you here. David Hunt dropping in. Fantastic to see you here. And thanks for the prompt there. Yes, be sure to hit the like. I never say that enough on my own videos, actually in regular videos as well. But yeah, do be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. There we go. Yeah, there are other options of how to smash that like button. Jesse, I find the interface in Discord to be extremely busy and distracting. Slack is far better, and for a true community, nothing compares to Circle based on what I've seen. I run my community on Circle. Yeah, they've all got pros and cons, honestly, because some people say that the interface in Discord is busy, and it certainly has got this look of it looks like an old school forum almost in terms of the aesthetic. I mean, you can change that. I was almost tempted to change this because, when people see the, let me just go in and change this for a second. There we go. I can instantly make it a little bit more appealing if you are that way inclined by just turning off dark mode. So some people like these different themes. I will come back to your comment, but yeah, there are pros and cons to all of these different things. If you go into user settings and go into your appearance, then I can maybe make it a nice orange and green. How about that? There we go. So we've got a slightly different look to it. So you can change up the look to be how you want it. I think in the dark mode, it does almost have this, like coding gamer vibe to it that perhaps it doesn't in other things. So let me just go to appearance here. There's lots of variations on this. I won't go through them all. Candy floss. How about that one? Let's go for the candy floss look and see what that one looks like. Perfect. So yeah, there is some added benefits in here in terms of search, and from what I've seen in the Circle community I've been in, which is just one so far. So again, with any community, it's down to the implementation. I've looked at Mighty Networks as well. I was never a huge fan of that Circle, and then there is obviously the Kajabi communities. Kajabi's, I'll do a whole separate video at some point about using Kajabi communities because it's got its own things. It was originally, the platform was Vibely, and then Kajabi bought it to integrate. The other thing about Circle compared to Discord from a creator's point of view is I'm not sure what the pricing is like on a Circle community, or whether there is, if you do a paid thing, if they take any sort of split of that. Discord's a free platform, so there is that to be conscious of as well. But yeah, I mean, it's whatever you use, it all comes down to community and how you run it. But I'm glad you've got Circle, and that's working for you as well. As I say, Discord is really polarizing. People either love it or they hate it. And I will say that there is also the Discord thing. There is this potential sense that it is a gamer space because that's where it came from originally. It was for gamers, streamers, and so on. And so there's that preconception maybe that it's not for me because that's what it is. It also doesn't help that they're called servers, honestly. I've said this right from the beginning, saying, hey, do you want to come and join my server? It already sounds complex, to somebody who's not tech savvy. Whereas in actual fact, if you said, do you want to come over and join the family, join the community, then that would sound instantly more appealing as well. So, yeah, it's the naming doesn't help it. There's lots of things on Discord that don't really help its cause, I think. But there we go. There is another feature in Discord which kind of attracted me at the beginning, which was they have what they call voice channels, which are originally started out as just for voice, but now are basically full-blown video. And it's something that I use right now. Like if I go over to my community, then we have got folks that are in, there you go, Jeff, Rich, and Peter in the backstage area. And what that means is that while I'm streaming here, I'm also streaming into Discord. And then we start beforehand, have a chat, we go live, and then afterwards we'll be continuing our conversation about pigeon-guided missiles. So all very, very appropriate stuff. Yeah, that was one of the appeals for it. I've got to say that Discord really isn't doing a great job with audio in those, and there are sometimes issues with that. So that's just something to be that I'm mindful of. And I used to do my weekly Q&As for the Academy in Discord, as a way to try to foster people getting into Discord. But we just had audio issues, and for a paid, if I'm offering a paid product, I won't use voice channels on Discord for it because they're not fit for purpose. The purpose being audio, and the audio just doesn't work. So there is that. But let me come back to these other questions. Oh, David's just asked the question there that I was wondering. Can you run your community in Circle for free? So I'm using Kajabi. I'm saying that I'm not going to talk about the limitations of Kajabi. One thing I will say is this community, which, as I say, is just the bare bones of it at the moment. I've not set up, and to be clear, this is Kajabi Communities, not Circle. I know that wasn't your question, David, but where you've got roles in Discord to be able to create different sort of groups of people. Basically, every one of those little groups or different levels of access you want to provide in Kajabi is using up one of your Kajabi products. So in Kajabi, you have a number of products on the particular plan you're on, and that includes your courses, podcast, community groups, and so on. So if you wanted to have like 5 different tiers of access, excuse me, 5 different tiers. Excuse me, 5 different tiers of access, then you would need to group those. You would need to use a different product for those, so it does eat into your products from that point of view. But it is technically, you can in Kajabi, you can do it in your plan. But I understand that Circle, there is a cost associated with it, but I'm not sure exactly how much. Hey, Paul, great to see you here. Thanks for stopping by. And oh, there we go. Jesse, no, the minimum for Circle is $49 a month, but it's worth it for the interface and usability. The $99 price point allows courses integrated, which is awesome. Yeah, so yeah, you can host courses in Circle as well. Hey, Rob, thanks for popping by. Long time no see. I've not been making our weekly sessions for the past couple of weeks, but I hope you're doing fine. And hey, Miss Eileen, great to see you as well. Vito, great to see you too. And of course, you are awesome, Wayne. Thanks for being a part of the community. And Florence, fantastic to see you here as well. Thanks for coming. And Paul, I have found with Discord that there are so many challenges that it becomes confusing as to where you should post things. It turns a lot of people off. You know, that is exactly it. It is, and that's why I've tried to reduce the number of channels that I've got in my Discord. And there is there is one server in particular that I'm not going to name and shame. But honestly, you just keep scrolling through the channels, and it is it's not one that it's not one that you or I are affiliated with, Paul. By the way, but there's another one where it goes on and on and on, and you think like, how is anybody supposed to know, first of all, where to post without, a 1 week onboarding course of, how to get the most out of it? That's the first point. But then secondly, yeah, when you come into it and it's just a massive, I mean, it happens with me as well. I'll be honest, even when I go into, other servers that I am, relatively closely affiliated with, it's just, time is limited. And when you go in and you just see that everything is there, and you feel like you haven't caught up, then it is an issue. There is one thing to say about that, though, as well, is don't feel that you need to catch up. If you don't have to follow everything. It's okay to miss out on something. And if you think about what happens in Facebook, if you were to go into a Facebook group, you aren't necessarily ever caught up, as it were, are you? Do you remember it used to be in the day that when you scrolled to the end of your Facebook feed, you would reach an end point and it would say, that's it, you've reached the end. You've seen everything. You're all caught up. And then Facebook quickly changed that, didn't they? No, we need the endless scroll. Never let them leave. But that's what happens in Facebook groups, is you kind of come in and dip into the group, and because you're not seeing, how many unread messages there are in your Facebook group, you just kind of like browse a little bit, see what the latest thing is, and that's kind of it. So never be afraid in your groups in here. A bit like in email, I'm a big proponent of, at some point, it's fine to go Control-A, delete. So you can always come in here, or archive, I should say. And you can always just come in here and, if I thought, right, well, I'm not going to... I haven't got time to catch up with all of Doc's stuff. I'm just going to right click and then click mark as read, and then the little dot would go away. So it's fine to come in and just dip in, and you don't need to catch up with absolutely everything. But you're right, Paul. That's the feedback that I've got as well. People have joined my server. They're not there every day. They've just popped in for a question or, whatever it is. And then when they come in again, a week's time or 2 weeks' time or a month's time or 2 months' time, and then it's kind of like, oh, I haven't got time for all this. It's just overwhelming. Right click, mark all as read, and then just go into the channel that you're interested in. Do you have roles made for people who want to be notified of new videos? You could technically in Discord do that, but what I mean, I would always say what I say to server owners who just notify everyone about their new videos is I would say, you know, instruct people on YouTube. You can go down below and click the little bell thing. That's why everyone says go down and click like and subscribe and hit the bell. It's like, well, what is the bell button? Well, the bell button controls your notifications. You could literally just go in YouTube and just hit the little bell button, say, I want to be notified every time this person is, you know, posts a video or goes live. And then you're in control of that on your own app and you'll get a little notification on, you know, your phone or wherever you watch your things. So that's kind of like my little pet peeve about server owners just bulk notifying everybody every time they post a video. So yeah, if you did want to be notified, then technically it would come up in the channel here. And by the way, let's go into some of these other things then. If you go into videos and right click, there's also notification settings as well. So I said about muting channel, but you can go to that individual channel and you can use either the category defaults. You can go in individually and say, yes, definitely notify me about all messages in this channel. Or you can say, I want to be only notified with @ mentions, which is where somebody uses your name. So @ whatever your name is. Or you can be notified about absolutely nothing. So again, it may be that you want to be selective about what it is that you're getting notified about. But this is all in the control of the individual user, not me sort of forcing that on people, because I don't want to be sending push notifications to people about, hey, I've just posted in this channel about software if you're not interested in it. So definitely go through, and you can do this on, you know, the whole thing. So maybe you're not interested in getting notifications about this stuff, my content, but you do want to get notifications about Ecamm. You could turn that to be, you know, notifications all the time. This one could just be, you know, muted so that you don't get notifications, but you can at least see it all. And then Kajabi, you might say, I'm not interested. And so then you could use that thing of going up here, browse channels, and just remove it for your view. So as a user of Discord, you do have this sort of fine grain control over all of that, which again is, you know, is kind of like one of the benefits of Discord. But the problem is most people just don't know about it. So then it's a case of, you know, having the sort of education process of going through to sort of train someone how to use the thing just so that it can be a part of your community. You get that in all communities, by the way. You know, you do have to learn how to use it, with the exception of Facebook, which is kind of ubiquitous, but it just sucks. So there's that trade-off. Yeah. Hey, George, great to see you here. How do I feel about Discord Nitro? So Discord Nitro is something that allows you to your server can be boosted. So let's just take a look at what this is. Wrong one, this screen here. So here you can see I've got my my server, and there are basically you can boost your server level 1, 2, or 3. I've just gone to level 2 by giving it this 7 out of 14 boost. What does that mean? What does it actually do? Well, as a server owner, it does things like increases the file size that people can upload to. So it's free to join Discord, and you get all the functionality that you need with that. But by paying, what I'm doing is I'm getting a larger file size that people can upload. And I forget what the figures are now. In fact, let's just see if I can look at this. I don't know if this is, let me just go into this way. I'm just going to find out what these different tiers are. Discord Nitro tiers. Where am I typing that? I'm typing that somewhere completely else. I've probably just sent that as a message to someone. What it gives you is basically different functionality in your server. So let's just see this. So if you are, well, first of all, if you are subscribed to Discord, then here you go. You get larger uploads, and the Nitro is 500 megabytes or 50. You can use custom emojis. So if you are a Discord user, you can sign up to this thing called Nitro, and basically means that if there are any emojis in one of your other servers that you're a member of, you can use them in any other one as well. I'm sure that's important to some people. And then it increases your streaming capabilities. Then as a server owner, this is what I want to look for. yeah, you can, if you're a Nitro subscriber, you can basically boost a server or two servers, or multiple servers, but you get you get two of these things called boosts. Now, what I do is, if you are a server owner, then I've just basically bought the Nitro and I've added on some extra boosts in order to be able to boost my server to this 7, which gives me that level 2 thing, which is basically means that we're getting slightly better audio and video in my in the voice channels and a few other things there as well. So it's just not essential, but yeah, just check out these benefits here, and I'll just drop them into the chat as well, because these are the benefits of using it. Let me just come over here. I'll drop that into the chat. But yeah, it's really, I do that because of, as a server owner, which I'm just looking for the benefits for server owners in here, that's why I do it anyway. So it's worth checking out if any of those benefits are useful to you, but you certainly don't need to do it to be an active part of the community, because that is a paid thing basically, and then you're getting into a subscription. So yeah. So let me just come and check out these. Hey there, Ken. Great to see you. Fantastic that you could make it live. I hope all went well. By the way, I saw your mail this morning about the Zoom thing. I'll get a message to you later on, but I guess I've probably missed the actual live event that you were doing. So I hope that all went really well, though. So hey, Aubrey, great to see you as well. What are your plans on doing a Kajabi course on Kajabi Community Guide? Yeah, I will do. I will add some videos into the Kajabi Accelerator course. So that's one that's kind of there, and I know you've got access to all of that as well. So after I've finished setting up all the community and gone through all of that, I'll definitely be doing a video on that. And oh, you had 84 people attending the first vodcast last night. Oh, I'm really great. Everything worked out. That's awesome. Fantastic news, that is. Yeah, so I will be doing a separate video about for the Kajabi communities. Actually, I always used to say, I think in some of the earlier training I'd done on Kajabi that I'm not using the communities, but now I have got some slightly different views on it because of, as I say, the things that I've been going through in this particular video. So. With that said, if there are any other questions you've got about Discord, then feel free to drop them in the chat, or just the sort of community side of things in general. Don't forget that you can also get access to that Discord beginner's guide at the reduced rate of $47 for 57 videos, and it's basically everything you need to fully understand how to use Discord. And if you are an active member in other communities, just bear in mind that there is actually loads and loads of value hidden in those communities. And I say hidden because if you go in and you feel overwhelmed by it, then that's essentially what it is. So if you want to sort of get the most out of the communities that you are in, then that Discord beginner's guide is really going to help you understand how to better use search, how to find your way around, and use all of the features of Discord to allow you to get the maximum benefit out of it. But if you're also thinking about setting up your community on Discord as well, then there is that whole section in there as well that shows you, talks about how I've set things up in here, lessons that I've learned, and then also, so just the sort of technicality of how to get things up with, different levels of access. If you've got different tiers of membership, for example. So I have my the free access that you can all get, but then I've got my YouTube channel members get access with an increased level, and then we've got the Academy members as well who have a different level again. So talking about how you can set all of that up is all covered in the course. But of course, if you have got any other questions, you can always drop them down in the chat or in the comments after the video if you're watching on the replay. But honestly, a much better place is to actually just head straight over to the community, the Take One Tech community, and ask your questions in there. It was the motivation for me setting it up in the first place, a central location for me to answer all of these sorts of questions. With that said, if there are no further questions, then thank you very much for watching, and I'll leave a link to some other videos related to Discord over on the right-hand side here. Thanks for watching. Thanks also to all of my wonderful channel members. I appreciate you all. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.